Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of The Maxine Unapologetically Authentic. And as you can see, I have my co-host, my fur baby, is at the back today joining me on today's topic. I want to tune into inner work. I've been hearing a lot about people talking about I'm doing the inner work because I want my peace. I'm doing the inner work because I want to be better than what I was yesterday. I'm doing the inner work because I want to grow as a person. Now I want to ask you something. What does inner work mean to you? What does that mean when you hear somebody say, I'm doing the inner work? Because for me, inner work is tied to who you are now versus who you were, your past years, how you acted, how you spoke, how you conducted yourself, how people knew you. So let's go back. Let's go back to how you were when you were a baby or in your toddler years compared to being in primary school. When you were a toddler, you acted like one. You spoke like one. You were taught to do certain things in a certain way, in a certain manner. Because that is what the people around you and in your environment where you grew up in taught you. You don't know any better yet. And then I want to hop on to as we grow. We grow into our primary school years. We have friends that we grow up in our communities with. We've got our parents. We've got our family. We've got all these people, our educators, that influence who you're becoming, good or bad. But we come into this season of life where either something traumatic happens, maybe it was a relationship, a breakup, maybe it was a friendship that fell apart. But yet, people still think the inner work sits on the outside. The outside has got nothing to do how you're going to change how you perceive yourself. The inner work starts inside. You have to evaluate. If I have to look at myself, I've got to think, who was Maxine a few years ago? Did I like that version of me? Was my friend circles influencing me negatively or positively? Did I like how I felt when I was around these people? If I was in a relationship, did it make me shrink myself? Did it bring out the best in me or the worst in me? Did I love myself then? So I want you to just take a step back and think about this, because I hear a lot of it and I see a lot of it. Friends, family, strangers, everybody says, I want my peace. But you still attend that family function where people belittle you, where people humiliate you, where they're name calling and shaming you. You go home in tears, or sometimes you are emotionally fueled with anger because you chose to keep quiet. You never responded because, what's the point? They're just family. They're just friends. Just leave them to be ignorant and foolish like they are. No, people. Or you end up you are so exhausted. You are emotionally and mentally spent. You get invited. Please come and attend my kid's birthday party. Or go out with me tonight. I just feel like celebrating. Yes, it can be a good friend, but you're allowed to tell your friends, I'm emotionally spent. I would like some time to myself. Don't feel guilty. There's nothing wrong in doing that. That is where inner work starts, where the peace comes from. Where you put yourself in a situation where you know it's going to rock the boat. I would rather rock the boat and have people hate me than please people and lose myself, shrink my voice, and be in constant misery and turmoil and unsettling. So be very wise when you say those words. Ask yourself, what does it mean to me when I say I'm on a journey to do the inner work, to find my inner peace. Inner peace means I'm not going to go to a family function if I know there's negative talk, if I know there's no emotional intelligence, if I know there is no respect for me as a person. I don't have to go to family just because I'm linked to them by blood. No. If you're disturbing my peace, thank you. It was nice knowing you. Goodbye. We are so good at doing it with strangers. In the workplace, in the parking lot, you can tell them exactly where to get off. And you can feel good because you got it off your chest. But the minute it comes to people closely linked to you, ones you love, ones you care for, you need to start evaluating those relationships and looking very closely. How many times do we see women and men that are stuck in abusive relationships? Because this is what I'm used to. This is who I married. If it's disturbing your emotional world, if you're getting sick, if you can't function mentally, why are you staying? Give yourself permission to walk away from unhealthy friendships. Give yourself the permission to walk away from family that has no respect for you. No, how can I put it? They do not acknowledge who you are as a person, who you are as an adult. They see you changing and people hate it. And it's because they don't understand. Look here, if you were known to be, back in the day, you were the life of the party. You were joking and you were playing around and you're fooling around, and you've evolved. Now you prefer quieter nights, you prefer solitude, you prefer reading, you prefer smaller crowds, and you prefer planned hangout times, because that is what keeps you stable. That is what keeps you grounded. That is what inner peace looks like to you. That is where you grow. That is where you start to bloom. That is where the best years are coming out, because you're starting to peel off those layers and you're starting to get to know you again. It's like reintroducing yourself to you, for you. And trust me, it is such a beautiful journey to go on, such a beautiful transition. Exactly how, just picture for a minute. How does a butterfly become a butterfly? We all look at this nasty little caterpillar and go, oh, I don't like it. But out of that springs pure beauty, with time, with endurance, with lessons that it learned. It went through a complete transformation, not knowing back then what was best, but knowing better now. Not acting appropriately then, but doing things differently now. Not knowing how to say no and how to walk away from tables and settings where you're not being respected, where you're not being acknowledged, where you're not being celebrated. Too many of us get hung up with the idea that I'm going to do this because it's such a trend on social media. No. You spend time, you spend energy giving, performing, only to lose more and more and more pieces of yourself. And the sad thing is, you're teaching your children these very, very same lessons. When people mock you, keep quiet or retaliate, which is just as wrong. Rather, find who you are within. We put up with so much crap. And then we want to complain. I'm so unhappy in this relationship. How many people have I heard? They're getting ready to what's supposed to be a joyous celebration, but they are miserable. I hate those people that I'm going to. I'm just doing it out of obligation, or I'm doing it for the sake of my husband, or I'm doing it for the sake of my wife, or I'm just doing it to keep the peace. No, I'm sorry. God put me here on this earth as Maxine, as you, not to tolerate people's bullshit. No, 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 no. If you're going to keep going to the places that disturbs you, that upsets you, that unsettles you, that brings the demons out of you, Lord have mercy, that's not where I want to be. But I see this happening time and time and time again. We put up a performance and a show of a lifetime when you go and see your in-laws. You put up a show and a performance of a lifetime when you're catering for family that you can't even stand. You put up a show when you go to work because I'm getting paid. You have a choice. You have the power within you to change. You have the power to say today, and trust me, it's not going to be easy. It will feel like the entire world is against you. But if you really, really, really want to be on this journey where you claim, I have inner peace, I'm on this journey to find inner peace, then do the real work. Cut off those circles. I'm not afraid to say, I'm emotionally spent. I cannot make it to that event. Or if circumstances financially, I did not commit to something in advance. You don't have to be everywhere all the time. You're like a social media post, like a TikTok video. You're constantly popping up everywhere, but you're nowhere because you're not even present. You're not even happy. You're not even engaged. So what's the point? When you say choose inner peace, go down on your knees and ask, what is it that I'm searching for? What is inside of me that is unsettled? What are the traits that I would like to work on to become better than what I was yesterday? Do I like the versions I was? Was I doing it for performance? Was I doing it to gain influence? Was I doing it to please people? Ask yourself those questions. And if it means cutting people off, losing people, that's part of life. If that's not happening, you're not growing. You're lying to yourself. I'm sorry. Let's be honest. You want to follow these trends on social media, yet you're the same person you were 10 years ago. Hanging with the same crowd, talking about the same topics, discussing the same people. You haven't grown. You've changed the clothes. You still go to the same spot. You still hang out with the same people. You still talk about the same things. You haven't changed one bit. So here's a lesson for you. If you honestly want to do something about your life, the one that you complain so much about, and don't misunderstand me, we all complain, and it's valid. We don't always have good days and positive days like, yes, I got this. There is some things that you complain about like, and if you're from South Africa, load shedding. Oh my God, there goes the electricity again. Oh, do I have backup? No. What am I going to do? How long is it going to be? Not so sure. Can I go without lights? Do I need to evaluate the situation? Cool. Do I have control over it? No. So what am I going to do? If it's outside of my control, I let it go. I control what I can. Do I have candles in my house? Yeah. Do I have, what are these energy-powered solar batteries and lights in my house? Yeah. Can I use them? Yeah. Do I have a gas stove? Yeah. Can I cook? Yeah. Can I wash? I can boil water? Yeah. That's in your control. But we love giving away our power to outside influences and say, there's nothing I can do to change the situation. There is so much you can do when you find your inner voice, when you decide what's best for you without pleasing, without performing. That is how you find inner peace. And if you're not sure what it looks like, listen, because I know you guys love doing ChatGPT because you carry on like it's a therapist. People, let's understand these are tools. Tools that human beings prompted to give it knowledge so that it can just make life easier for you. Sometimes it does not have the answers that you need because it's not in the emotional entanglement. It doesn't know the emotional baggage that it comes with. It doesn't know the seasons, the transgressions, the rejections, the disappointments, the hurts, the pains, the joys, the celebrations. It doesn't know that. But we love doing it. But let's try and look at ourselves first. And there's a beautiful, beautiful exercise that you can do for this. When you start doing inner work, do yourself a favor. Look at the mirror. And it's a proven theory. People cannot look at themselves in the mirror. Because when you look at the mirror, this is what you're looking at. You're literally doing this. Okay, I'm putting on my lipstick. Looks good. Okay. Earrings look fab. Nose. Yes. Eyes on fleek. Yes. My hair good. You did not look at yourself. You were looking at certain objects. The outline. The surface. When I say look at yourself, I mean look. You stare into that mirror and 99% of people can't do it. Because when you look at that person that's looking back at you, you feel real emotions. You hear conversations being replayed that you should never have heard before. You start triggering events that stirs like boiling hot water on the inside of your heart that's about to blow over. So next time, people, when you say you're doing the inner work, don't throw away these terms loosely. Ask yourself, before you step out of that door and you go to that family function, ask yourself, am I better off staying at home with my own family, in my own home, with my own food, in my comfortable sweats, on my own couch, with my own drinks and my own music, where I will be happy and satisfied? Or am I going to walk out that door and suppress what I really want to say, who I really am, because I want to appease people? I appease no one. I choose me first. And that's what you should do. And when you have children, trust me, that's a very important lesson you should teach your kids as well. Never accept disrespect where you go. Never put on a show or a performance because you have to. They family. Oh, it's my lifelong friends. Oh, but it's daddy's family. Oh, but it's mommy's family. We're all human beings. We all receive the same sunshine, the same air to breathe, the same opportunities that God has granted us to live, to love, and to be humble. So you choose. Think about it. Stand in the mirror and look at that person. See who you have become. See where the missing pieces of the puzzle are. See who you really are and ask yourself, who do I want to become? Do I love me as I am? Or do I want to change me for the better? Not for people, for yourself. Inner work starts within. It's a journey, it's a process. But the most important thing is, don't lie to yourself and say, I'm doing it. Do it. And see what it feels like and the beauty that it brings in the end. Thank you, everyone, for joining, for subscribing, for listening. This is the Maxine, unapologetically authentic.